Coming up, we now know what charges the owners of a Kentucky drug rehab facility are facing.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The owners of a Kentucky drug rehab facility are facing charges related to child pornography. Grayson Passmore was on the scene in Moorhead today as their home was being raided.
This is the home of Edgewater recovery owners, John and Mira Elam. The drive was filled with investigators. As Kentucky State Police say, a raid was conducted by their electronic crimes unit.
I hope they throw them under the jail. I mean, seriously, somebody that's supposed to be helping people and they're doing this.
According to the Rowan County Detention Center, John and Mira Elam are both charged with possession of matter portraying sexual performances by a minor under 12 years old and possession of matter portraying sexual performances by a minor under 18 years old. John faces an additional charge of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
I knew it was coming. I mean, anybody that comes out in this area, you know, it's a tight-knit area. We know everybody. I don't even live here, but I know everybody. And that's bad news.
Neighbors like Gail Hall say they're not surprised.
I thought, my instincts were right.
This isn't the first arrest for either suspect. Back in January, the Department of Justice announced they reached a $2.2 million settlement agreement with Edgewater over False Claims Act violations. The agreement states, Edgewater ordered drug tests for its patients every week, without considering if they were needed, and often not using the results. In February, the Elams were arrested in Bath County. John Elam was charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence. Mira Elam was charged with public intoxication of a controlled substance, excluding alcohol.
You know, my mom told me growing up, go with your gut instinct. But evidently my gut was right, so.
In Moorhead, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Edgewater Recovery announced company-wide layoffs back in March.
Well, some good news. We have no watches, also no warnings to go into this Thursday evening, but we are tracking some more light showers and some dense fog. Let's go to the radar this evening. And as you can see, after some widespread showers earlier this evening, we are starting to trend down with those rain chances to go into Thursday night. Zooming into a few heavier downpours, though, in southern Pike County, also pushing into parts of Buchanan, also Dickinson County over in southwest Virginia, and some more light showers close to the I-64 corridor, also close to the Mountain Parkway from Estill County, pushing into parts of Powell, also Menifee into Wolfe counties at this hour. Also watching out for some low visibility in some areas, down to 3 miles over in Whitley County and down to 7 miles for Wise, also in Jonesville over in Virginia. So we could see a few more stray showers, also some dense fog to wake up on your Friday. Those temperatures are mild in the middle to upper 60s, up to 67 for Jackson, 68 over in Pikeville, and 63 over in London at this hour. And we are tracking some more rain chances to go into this weekend, also for your Friday as well. So if you have the umbrella, be sure to use it, as we are tracking some more off and on showers by Friday. Not going to rain all day long for Friday or tomorrow, or into your Saturday, I should say, but we are tracking some hit or miss showers at times. More details on that weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thanks. Last night, Clay County emergency management officials say they noticed a fire at the Vinland Energy plant had reignited. This raised concerns for people within a 1-mile radius of the plant and led to an overnight evacuation of roughly 50 homes and at least 25 residents at Landmark Laurel Creek Nursing Center. The deputy director with emergency management says the fire is now out and people who live in the area can return home.
The emergency, at this point, we do not expect any changes, but we will continue to monitor it with emergency management for the next 48 to 72 hours.
People began returning to their homes this afternoon. An official at Hazard ARH says 25 residents from Landmark Laurel Creek are spending the night at the hospital. They were sent there as part of this evacuation, and they are being cared for by Landmark caregivers. We're told they'll be returning to their facility tomorrow. A state investigation is pending in the death of two Campbell County, Tennessee inmates. It happened just over a month ago, but the mother of one of those inmates who died at the jail is still searching for answers. Faith Evans died in the jail, and she was the second inmate to die in 10 days. Her mother, Phyllis Evans, says it's been a frustrating time waiting for answers as they continue to grieve.
She was just a sweet, kind person that would do anything, to help anybody. And it torments me every day. I mean, it's tore this whole family apart, trying to figure out what happened.
Evans says her daughter leaves behind a 5-year-old son. She said the situation is a nightmare she's never going to get over. Police in Louisville have released new video of an incident involving the top golfer in the world, Masters champion Scottie Scheffler. Scheffler was driving to a tournament last week when he allegedly refused to comply with an officer's orders near the scene of a deadly traffic accident. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has the new images and how Scheffler's attorneys are responding.
The newly released video from 2 cameras shows Scottie Scheffler's vehicle turning near the scene and coming to a stop. Moments later, Scheffler gets out of the vehicle and is handcuffed and arrested.
Guys.
An ESPN reporter capturing it on his cell phone. The criminal complaint said Scheffler refused to comply and accelerated forward, dragging a detective to the ground. But that detective did not have a police body camera turned on. And Louisville's police chief says he was disciplined for violating department policy.
Detective Gillis should have turned on his body-worn camera, but did not.
There are lingering questions about the incident and the 4 charges Scheffler faces, including felony second-degree assault of an officer.
We have to respect the legal process, and that's what we are going to do, and we're going to let that play out.
In a news conference hours after the incident, Scheffler said it was all a misunderstanding.
It was very chaotic, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get to my tee time, and outside of that, things escalated from there.
On Thursday, his attorney said he has reviewed the new footage and Scheffler will fight the charges.
He didn't do anything wrong. We will go to trial or the case will be dismissed.
Scheffler's arraignment is set for June 3rd. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Scheffler's arraignment date was pushed back earlier this week. A chemistry teacher was arrested in Oldham County for a school shooting threat. According to Michael Tripp's arrest citation, he told a group of students that he only has a few days left to shoot up the school. Police say he admitted talking about school shootings. They charged him with terroristic threatening. Kentucky State Police honored 37 fallen troopers, officers, and patrolmen at the annual KSB Memorial Ceremony in Frankfort today. 37 names were read to remember officers who died in the line of duty. The officers were remembered for their service to communities. Creator of the Fallen Heroes Wreath Program, Michelle Pulaski, says they want to ensure their names are never forgotten.
It is said our heroes died twice. Once when their last breath is taken from them, and again when their name is spoken for the last time.
Since last year's memorial service, 2 state troopers have died outside of the line of duty and were also honored at the ceremony. Governor Andy Beshear has given the green light for Kentucky's counter-drug program to continue its operations. In 2023, the program facilitated the seizure of 265,000 fentanyl pills. So far in 2024, the team has seized more than 86,000 fentanyl pills and made 64 arrests. Today, Governor Beshear signed the fiscal year 2025 State Drug Interdiction and Counter-Drug Activities Plan, highlighting the program's effectiveness in disrupting drug flow and enhancing public safety. Governor Beshear also signed an executive order declaring Juneteenth a state executive branch holiday. It names June 19th as Juneteenth National Day of Freedom in Kentucky. Juneteenth commemorates the day the last slaves in the U.S. were freed. The executive order comes after 3 failed attempts to pass legislation to make Juneteenth a state holiday. Public education advocates have created a group to stand up against the so-called voucher amendment that's on the ballot in Kentucky in November. Advocates gathered in Perry County to launch the Protect Our Schools Kentucky campaign. Katie Combs says they fear money meant to go to public schools will be funneled to private schools. She says this would impact staff, students, and beyond.
Our budgets are going to get even tighter, and cuts are going to have to be made. How will that affect how we're able to recruit teachers then? Our students deserve the best and brightest the Commonwealth has to offer. But to keep them, our schools have to have the resources needed for them to do their jobs effectively. Our districts need to have enough money to not have to ultimately eliminate teaching positions.
WYMT has reached out to supporters of the amendment but have not heard back. Many in Powell County are remembering the life of a former judge executive. James Anderson died suddenly on Tuesday. Kentucky State Police say he fell off an equipment trailer in Jackson County and later died at a local hospital. He served as Powell County Judge Executive from 2012 to 2022.
James would do anything for the people of Powell County, and he did. James's legacy is one about caring for your neighbors, of treating every single person like they belong and they have a future in the place where they live.
Visitation for Anderson will be Sunday from 5 until 9 at Stanton Christian Church. His funeral will also take place at the church, but on Monday at 1. The Truck Safety Coalition is working to raise awareness about crashes involving large trucks in Kentucky. According to the TCS, truck crash deaths have increased by an astonishing 88% in Kentucky during the past 10 years. The TCS worked with Lexington Police today on how to cut down on these crashes. They say the statistics surrounding these large truck crashes are troubling.
This comes from the real world, and not enough is being done to address the problem.
Lexington Police say some of their officers are certified commercial vehicle inspectors and work to make sure the trucks on the road are as safe as possible. Governor Andy Beshear announced that the state has contracted private developers to build 18 more charging stations for electric vehicles. The 8 developers selected will receive nearly $12 million in federal funding. The plan is for Kentucky to eventually have charging stations located every 50 miles along interstates and parkways. The governor says Kentucky's commitment to EVs will help bring more people to the Bluegrass.
That they will see Kentucky as a place where if you want to drive an electric vehicle, you can drive all over all our state parks, every part of Kentucky, and be able to charge that vehicle.
With this latest round of contracts, the state's electric vehicle charging program will have added a total of 42 fast charging stations to Kentucky's roadways. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, former President Trump tries to win more support from minority voters.
Plus, we are tracking some more stormy weather through this weekend. Stay with us. Your forecast after this break.